Hello and welcome to the next edition of Business Accelerators. I'm Jackson Hewitt, editor of Business Spectator, filling in for Alan Kohler. The business we have this month is Build Pro, which provides building materials to builders in the Bendigo area. I'm joined today by Wilhelm Harnisch, who's the CEO of Master Builders Australia. Wilhelm, how is the sector going?
Look, it's a mixed bag. If you're looking at WA, certainly they're enjoying the mining boom. Similarly, in New South Wales, there's a resurgence there, and also the Northern Territory. So they're the sort of three shining states. Queensland is poised to be on a recovery. It got particularly hard hit by the GFC, but I suppose the poor performing states would have to be South Australia and Tasmania. So it's a mixed bag. I think Melbourne or Victoria is sort of flatlining a bit, and Victoria is sort of middle of the road in terms of where it's at in terms of the housing sector at the moment.
But we have seen rates driving prices in the real estate market. Is that not filtering through to new home construction?
Certainly not. When you look at the statistics, the rate cuts since last year have taken a long time to take hold. We said the main reason for that is home buyers' confidence. And now that we've got the election out of the way, we're expecting a much bigger pickup in home buyers' confidence, and we would then expect a slow return of the new housing market.
What kind of time frame are you talking about there?
Look, this has been a very abnormal market in terms of a cycle. We are predicting that a sustained recovery probably will not be evident until March next year. And then it's a wait and see in terms of the strength of the confidence, the strength of where the financial market is at that particular point in time. But I think there's some early signs that a new housing market recovery is on its way, but I think it's a long way off yet.
So how are builders faring, particularly in the southern states at the moment?
Look, unfortunately, house builders generally are doing badly. When you look at Master Builders Survey, they've been doing it very tough. There've been, unfortunately, collapses in there. And so I think home builders will start, I suppose, seeing some recovery, but certainly they're not banking on any sort of supernormal profits anytime soon.
So what kind of advice are you giving to builders to help sustain themselves, I suppose, while they're waiting for this much hoped for uplift?
Look, there are opportunities. I think they need to look at the market very closely. I think they need to look at the demographics. I think they need to understand what baby boomers are wanting. I think they need to know what Gen Y are wanting. But I think there's great opportunity in the renovations market. Australia's housing stock is ageing, and in terms of quite significantly. So there's a huge potential to do renovations.
Now we have a new government. What do you want to see from them?
What we want is a bounce back in confidence in the first place. We're looking to the new Abbott government to give clear signals that they're going to control the economy, that they're going to have sound economic management, they're going to control the budget, and they're going to make sure that there's confidence back so that investors will actually come back into the market.
And are there direct policies that you're keen for them to implement?
On a number of fronts, obviously the economy, the budget, then there's industrial relations, and I think it's important, it hasn't been talked about in the election, is the whole issue of housing affordability and making sure that they work with the state governments in removing the impediments to improving a supply to housing, because that is a real risk. As demand picks up, state governments need to make sure that they do the reforms in terms of the approvals process, the land supply, so that we don't end up with price pressures, say, in 2 to 3 years' time.
And what about this idea to increase the wages for apprentices? What impact would that have on your members?
That is devastating. That certainly would have to be an own goal by the unions. They made much of the fact that they want to attract more apprentices, but they forgot about the demand side. In the end, builders actually have to engage them. At this point in time, they're actually making negative profits. And what's been happening, unfortunately, if you look at the official statistics, there's been massive layoffs of apprentices, and we don't see this as a positive, and we are very worried that our future labour force is going to be a generation missing.
Now that's a Fair Work ruling, a Fair Work Australia ruling, as far as I understand. But then the question is, what will the coalition government do about that? Would you expect them to step in?
Look, that was an independent decision of the tribunal. There's not much that the coalition can do, but what we'd be looking to is the coalition then needs to allow other reforms to the Fair Work Act so that we can actually lift productivity to overcome these silly decisions and very costly decisions where, you know, we are depriving young Australians from a very rewarding career.
Wilhelm Harnisch, thank you very much.
Thank you.